How's it going, everybody? And Monday Bible study. First Corinthians, we are in chapter 7, 12 through 20. So they did their ritual yesterday where the phoenix rose from the ashes. Chief's colors are fire, red and yellow. The eagle, remember that World War II leading country. Uh, the bad guys were represented by the eagle. Same with Los Estados Unidos, the eagle. The phoenix is a bird that rises through the ashes. That bird is the eagle. So it's on the back of your dollar bill with all of that craziness. Anyway, now I will speak to the rest of you, though I do not have direct command from the Lord. If a fellow believer has a wife who is not a believer, she lives, and so he's saying, I'm not speaking from the Holy Spirit. This is just my own personal fleshly standpoint. Paul is saying, if a fellow believer has a wife who is not a believer and she is willing to continue living with him, he must not leave her. But if a believing woman has a husband who is not a believer and he is willing to continue living with her, she must not leave him. For the believing wife brings holiness to her marriage, and the believing husband brings holiness to his marriage. Otherwise, your children would not be holy, but now they are holy because they're in one household. They're not separated from their parents, getting those demons. But if the husband or wife who isn't a believer insists on leaving, let them go. In such cases, believing husband or wife is no longer bound to the other, for God has called you to live in peace. Don't you wives realize that your husbands might be saved because of you? So, maybe it'll be your Holy Spirit to their Holy Spirit that calls them if they end up being just a lost sheep at the time, but a sheep just the same. And don't you husbands realize that your wives might be saved because of you? Each of you should continue to live in whatever situation the Lord has placed you in and remain as you were when God first called you. This is my rule for all the churches. For instance, a man who is circumcised before he became a believer should not try to reverse it. And the man who was uncircumcised when he became a believer should not be uncircumcised now. Because again, now it's a circumcision of the heart. There's no more dipping in water or washing in water or being circumcised or having any animal sacrifice, as Jesus was our blood sacrifice. For it makes no difference whether or not a man has been circumcised. The important thing is to keep God's commandments, which is, of course, it's the law of Christ. Put God first, put the church second, put how you treat mankind in general third, because you are light, you are salt. You never know who a lost sheep might be. Somebody's a pagan today, but maybe they're a lost sheep and they get the call tomorrow. So yes, each of you should remain as you were when God called you. All right, Revelation 13. This is your 666 chapter. And we're going to split it up into two halves today and tomorrow. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and a beast rise up out of the sea. So the Antichrist is known as the beast of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And this goes back to as he is the 7th king of Mystery Babylon. So this is inclusive of all the 7 human kings of Mystery Babylon. And the 10 horns are the 10 kingdoms that are set up. And upon his horns, 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power. The dragon gave him his power. The dragon gave him his power. Well, he was always a goat, so demons were always ruling him. But this power, the dragon giving him his power, is special in that the Satan is now possessing the body of this Antichrist figure, whose body double, twin, or clone took a deadly wound to the right eye. In his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as if it were wounded to death. And that's your Zechariah 11:17. Zechariah 11:17, King James Version, Bible Gateway. Woe to the idle shepherd. Remember the Wednesday, every one of the 8 episodes of Wednesday have the word woe in them. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. So his right eye, this is the deadly wound. One of his heads, right eye, as if it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, because he is seemingly risen from the dead, a la Jesus, yet anti-Jesus. All the world wondered after the beast, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Because he just put it into World War III. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. Empire was given unto him to continue 42 months. Remember, Jesus said he cuts those days short. And he opened his mouth, because it'll be 3.5 days. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell on the earth. And that is found throughout 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, King James Version, Bible Gateway. So you're going to get that in 2 Thessalonians 2, 1 through 11. Matthew 24, King James Version, Bible Gateway. So when will the end be? And nation shall rise against nation. That's your red horse of the 4 horses, which is war. And it talks about famines, which is your black horse, famine, pestilences, there'll be illness. And therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet at Daniel 9:27 and at other parts, stand in the holy place, he will be in a Jewish temple over there in the land. And it says here, that day shall not come till the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, who, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Workings of Satan, lying signs and wonders. It's the great tribulation. Jesus is saying at verse 21 of chapter 24, Matthew. Jesus talks about shortening the days. What days? The 42 days. Excuse me, the 420 days, was it? $42 months, that's what it was. So those days are shortened. At verse 22, false Christ, false prophet. When you look them up, those are singular. There's just S's on the end of it. It's King's English. And shall show great signs and wonders that, if it were possible, would even deceive God's very elect. And it says right here, the workings of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. Great signs and wonders. So that's what we are reading today, also in Revelation 13. So blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, because he's in a Jewish temple, like I said, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, great tribulation, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Yep. The goat community will be possessed from all over the earth, from every type of nation, every type of world religion, so on and so forth. But the sheep, the lost sheep, will also be called out of all corners of the earth and all types of world religions. That's why when the goats are possessed, they're going to kill those sheep that are standing right next to them. It'll all be happening all over the world. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Remember the hearing ear and the seeing eye. Even the Lord hath made both of them. So you are given this ear by the Lord to understand the truth. I'm glad you're here. I love you very much. Ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for.